Internet is one of the major trends in our society wherein many youth are being involved with its entertainment purposes. This includes watching, online gaming, and social media browsing. However, among the entertainment purposes of Internet, online gaming is the most rampant. Youth, most especially the senior high school students, are becoming addicted to online gaming. This addiction influences their performances and behavior academically, by which they focus more on prioritizing their assets in online gaming. Since online games are considered as one of the major trends these days, the researchers have conducted a research entitled "The Effects of Online Games on the Productivity of Grade 12 STEM Students of FINMA University of Pangasinan."
To further have our reliable data, we researchers made use of different questions that will be needed in the study. First questions, the profile of the students. Second question, to know how much time or how long the student consume in online gaming. Third question, to test the productivity of the students. And the last question will help us to further know if there is significant effect between independent and dependent variable.
This study is limited to the grade 12 STEM students, especially to the grade 12 STEM 4A. In random sampling, we choose 49 students from their section to be the respondents. This study was conducted inside the school premises, specifically to the PINMA University of Pangasinan. The focus of this study is all about the effect of online games to the productivity of the students.
The motivation in pursuing this study is our curiosity about the effects of online games to the productivity of students, as we are also students that aren't fully aware about the possible results in playing online games. We want this research to be useful and helpful as an instrument of awareness about online games specifically affecting the productivity of students. That is why with this thought, we also use this as a motivation to pursue this study to strive harder for beneficial results.
This study will be beneficial to government, community, schools, administrators, teachers, students, parents, and future researchers. The benefit they will get in our study, especially to the students who are affected from playing online games to the productivity of the student, is they know the advantages and disadvantages. Also give awareness of playing online games. And when playing, they know how to stop and have time with their studies in school. And the importance of the productivity of their everyday life is they communicate with their family, friends, and also to the people surrounded by them. We use this study in order to teach the students who are affected from playing online games to their productivity.
Descriptive relational design was utilized in this study. Descriptive design was chosen since this topic was relevant to the present situation of the students. This research study used descriptive research design in explaining a specific phenomena in terms of online gaming. Relational design was also employed to determine the relationship between dependent and independent variable.
Researchers made use of different formulas in tallying the data. We use frequency count and percentage distribution to tally the profile of the respondents, while weighted mean were used in tallying the extent of exposure among the respondents. Lastly, Pearson and correlation coefficient is used to know if online games has significant effect on the productivity of the students.
We researchers made use of questionnaires to gather information and data needed in the study. To determine the extent of exposure among the respondents, we used checklists that consist different hours to know how long the respondents played online games. However, in knowing the level of the productivity of the respondents, we use Likert scale that also consists different statements to determine if they're being predictive in their everyday lives.
Data were gathered by the use of questionnaire and that will be answered by the respondents and that will provide important information on our study. But before we conducted our survey, we asked consent to our research advisor and school principal. After collecting the information gathered and conducting the survey, it was then tallied and tabulated by the researcher using a different formulas.
The tables that were mentioned in the Chapter 4 presents the data gathered from the respondents. The first table shows the profile of the respondents where the most common online gamers are male and in the age of 16 to 17. In the second table, it conveys the extent of exposure of the respondents. Statistics shows that most of the respondents spends 1 to 2 hours a day in playing online games. In the third table, it shows the level of productivity where most respondents agreed to the statement, I only exert more effort on the things I'm good at. And lastly, the fourth table indicates that the hypothesis was rejected. Therefore, online games have significant effect to the productivity of students.
The limitations that we've encountered as we were conducting this research were definitely not easy. Situations like searching for documents and articles that were fit enough to be included in our review of related literatures and review of related studies were not that simple. Conducting surveys by handing out questionnaires and interacting with unfamiliar faces made it a little bit difficult for us to gather data for our research paper. And lastly, finalizing and tallying all of the data that we've gathered. Student researchers like us are not that skilled yet to accomplish our research paper smoothly, but we managed to push through and finish everything.
Findings. On the profile of the respondents, there are 49 respondents. 41 are 16 to 17 years old and 8 are 18 to 19 years old. From the 49 respondents, 25 are male and 24 are female. On the extent of exposure to online games of the study, 25 from 49 respondents spent 1 to 2 hours a day online gaming and 1 consume 4 to 6 hours a day playing online games. On the level of productivity of the student, the computed weighted mean for productivity level of students is 3.1469, which as a transmuted description is moderate level of productivity. On the correlation between the online games and productivity of the student, the null hypothesis is rejected because the value of correlation coefficient is 0.0986.
Parents should monitor their children and give them limitation in playing online games. Students should focus their attention on more important things rather than online games. School should conduct activities that the students will enjoy and can make them productive.
This study found out that online games affects the productivity of the students, and this phenomena will continuously occur if it doesn't do anything. Online games is one of the major trends right now. It is a leisure activity that might cause something bad to the online gamers and also to the society. By this research, society will be conscious
about how can online games affect their daily lives. And in this way, they can raise awareness to prevent the possible negative effects of online games. Also, this research have gathered reliable information that might be helpful to other people, specifically to the researchers with the same study.
The motivation for this study is our curiosity and willingly to educate others about this research problem. As this research can be a helpful tool to anyone, especially students, to be aware about effects of online games to their productivity.
Of this study is to further note the idea about the effect of online games to the productivity of the students and how they balance their time in playing online games and their academic performance.
Situations that were not that easy for us to handle were searching for credible sources and published articles for our review of related literature and studies, conducting the survey and tallying all the data that we've gathered.
Research questions has an important role in conducting a research, since this is one of the way to gather data that will be needed in the study. Without these research questions, the study will be not reliable, since there are no valid data gathered, such like the opinion of the other people.
The two most important sources of the study was the review-related literature and the respondents. These two sources helped the researchers to conduct the study. The review-related literature helped the researchers by making the study more reliable, and also the respondents who participated to answer the question provided by the researchers, and helped to attain the information needed for the study.
Quantitative research was utilized in this study since it is the most reliable and valid way in concluding results. It also ensures the reliability, validity, and accuracy of this study. We also choose the survey to gather information by using questionnaire.
Respondents of this study was the grade 12 STEM 04A. We researchers utilized simple random sampling, specifically the lottery, by which all of the names of the students have unique number. Each number was placed in a bowl and mixed thoroughly. We researchers then draw from the bowl. All the students bearing the number picked were the subjects of this study. To know the number of the respondents, we made use of Slovine's formula.
The researchers distributed questionnaires to the respondents for them to answer the set of statements with coherent and satisfactory answers. The Likert scale was used as the measurement wherein they are able to express how much they are agree or disagree with a specific questions.
After collecting and tallying the data, we researchers have found out that males are more dominant in playing online games. The result also shows that the respondents consume plenty of hours in a day in playing online games. Therefore, we concluded that online games affect the productivity of the students since it is one of the reasons why the respondents lose their time management and forgot to do their responsibilities.
One of the original attributes of our research study is the dependent variable productivity. We chose productivity as it is not an overuse dependent variable, unlike academic performance, and it has a wider focus about a student other than his academic performance only.
Part of our study is that online gaming is very common among students, making it easy for them to relate themselves to their chosen topic. And another strong point of our study was our methodology, as we asked a group of students to partake in a survey that we need in order to gather data. And the weakest part of our study is the number of respondents that we have, which is only 49 students.
Based on the findings that are presented in the study, the researchers recommend for parents to guide their children and discipline them in playing online games to avoid some negative impact of it. The researchers also recommend for students to know their limitation in playing online games and they should prioritize other stuffs and other important activities. The researchers also recommend for school to be in charge in conducting activities in order for their students to be encouraged to join and to have fun. And lastly, the researchers also recommend for other researchers to conduct the same study to offer new findings, to validate in other
setting and to help students to know what are the impacts of online games towards their productivity and to help other future generations.
This study will not be just beneficial to the researchers, but it will be beneficial to the society. One of the reasons why we choose this study, because nowadays, many people are being addicted to online gaming. As a result, excessive online gaming might affect a person physically, mentally, and psychologically. This study will give us awareness to society how can online games destroy them. Furthermore, it will give us knowledge about how can affect of playing online games, and in this way we avoid the possible negative effect of it and to be disciplined by using online games in moderation.
In my perspective, this research study was conducted successfully. So, if it be conducted again, the only changes will be a different and/or larger audience and respondents that do not only pertain to the grade 12 STEM students of Philman University of Pangasinan, as they possibly are not the only ones who experience this kind of problem.
Research has been taught. We researchers experience difficulties and challenges. If I would give an advice to myself, and I will go back from the start, it will be to have more patience, to be more responsible, and to have more confidence and courage to myself. In this way, I will finish all things that has given to me, and I can share the ideas to the other people.